Shotgun mic. That's like this kind of mic.
Yeah.
It just has a long
I
throat.
actually brought it. I'll show you later if you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I actually went to school for audio engineering.
Really?
Yeah, so I know a lot about audio.
Yeah.
But I still feel retarded sometimes. Like when you're like shotgun mic, I'm like, that's a long throat. Like I should know these things, right?
Audio's a little tricky. I took one class it was a sound and lighting class, so they covered both very lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of the semester, and most of the sound stuff that I've learned has been like on my own.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Guys, welcome to That's the Angle, hosted by your boy Bruce Allen, and I'm here with Corey Gray.
Hello.
Let's just get right into it. So, dude, where we just were, tell me about the class. You went to school for.
So I went to George Mason University. My major was film and video. I enjoyed my time there. The problem with their program is it's a pretty new program. So a lot of the classes were beginner classes. So by the time I got into my major, I was already doing my own thing for probably 2 years already.
Oh no, I'm curious about what you were saying about the audio stuff. We can go over the broad strokes. I want to hear more about the audio stuff.
The audio. No, I was saying like I learned audio mostly on my own. The sound and lighting class covered both sound and lighting separately over the course of one semester, but they covered both of them pretty lightly.
That's dope.
So, I learned sound and lighting, but it wasn't. I learned a bunch of sound and a bunch of lighting. It was just like very basic stuff for both of them.
So you went to school like knowing that what you're doing now is what you wanted to do?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
What was it?
My goal was, so I was only into video. I started just making videos on my own while I was still in high school around like 2012.
Damn.
Was in school, got into George Mason's film and video program. My goal was to eventually work for a creative agency post-college.
Like ad agency,
Exactly.
making creative.
Yep.
Like recording video for it, or just like making content?
Just video, because I was only doing video at the time.
Oh, okay.
And that was my goal. I picked up photography on my own. A friend asked me to take some pictures of her for a clothing line that she was shooting for.
And this was like in college.
Yeah. So me and her were middle school friends. She blew up on Instagram on the EDM dance scene.
Was she like the girl in like the thong shuffling?
No, so she wasn't even wearing anything crazy.
Really?
But she was shuffling.
Okay.
And yeah, basically she just she had a photographer that she normally worked with. He wasn't available. She's like, hey, can you take these pictures of me? Blah blah. I need them for this clothing company. I have to send them in tomorrow. And I was like, I just do video. And she's like, no, like I believe in you, like you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, her name's Gabby. I was like, Gabby, like I just do video. And she's like, no, like I have faith in you. I was like, all right, like whatever. So
yeah, you knew how a camera worked.
Yeah, exactly. So if you know how a camera works, you're fine. Framing, all that, same as video. So I did the pictures, and then as far as editing goes, I knew how to edit because I took a multimedia class in high school. So I already knew Photoshop.
Dang, you have like a deep background.
Yeah, so I edited those, threw them on Instagram. She enjoyed them a lot. She was able to use them for that company. Post them on Instagram. People started hitting me up. Started doing a couple creative shoots. I was just like, all right, cool. I'll take some pictures. I'm free this weekend, whatever. And then over the course of like that following year, I just posted like some videos that I would just make for fun occasionally, or just like pictures that I took occasionally, and people started hitting me up like, hey, what's your rate? And I was I can make money off of this.
That's so crazy because for you it seems so like natural and organic. Like you knew that you were gonna go into this like besides that like event.
Yeah.
Like you were like, okay, I want to go do something that has to do with like images or moving images. Like, and that was just like the serendipity that led you to photos.
Exactly.
That's so nuts.
So a lot of people think that I learned photography first and then video. Only because I post more photography. But it's easy, you can do a photo shoot and post, 50 pictures of that photo shoot, but, you do a video shoot, you have that one video, you may be able to make a second cut. But, like, it's a lot more work into a video than, like, throwing up a picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I post more photography, but I got into video first.
Which one do you like more?
It's hard to say. They're both really different.
Whichever one pays that day.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think they're both very different. A lot of people think they're similar, and to me at least, they're really not.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Everything, the angles, the way you approach, like there has to be like some a little more storytelling with video. Like,
exactly.
It's a whole other ballgame.
Right.
It's not just. It's just a whole different like just beast in itself.
Exactly. So I think it depends on the project or what the genre is. Video is more technical. I would say I enjoy video more. It's just harder to produce video at a higher, capacity. I got into video because I wanted to be a video editor initially, like strictly just editing.
And then she came along and changed the world.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was like I had free time and I wanted to edit videos, but I didn't have videos to edit, so I would just shoot random stuff. So I would have footage to edit just for fun.
Did the video aspect help your photography?
Yeah. So I learned, oddly enough, I learned framing and stuff like that from video. I'm mostly self-taught for photography, but same as video. But with photography, I took one intro to photography class when I was in college. It's part of my minor, and that class taught me how to shoot manual. Which was a blessing because
thank you for that professor.
Yes, his name was Peter Bothwell. So Peter, if you're watching this, thank you.
Shout out, Peter. You're a real one, but at the same time, you're a teacher. So I don't know how well you're doing, but no,
he was really good. Really good guy, really nice guy. I remember I signed up for the class late, so I missed the first class. Second class, we were supposed to have a camera. I had a camera that I was shooting video with, but I didn't know to bring it because I signed up for the class late. So the following week, I brought my camera in, and it was we had a 2.5 hour class. We met twice a week, and we came into class, and he showed us how to change the shutter speed, the f-stop, and the ISO.
But this was the first time you ever dealt with that, though.
Yes, it was.
Oh shit.
So because at the time, video I was shooting auto, and for photos I was shooting auto.
Shit.
So as far as framing and stuff like that, I learned that from video. But as far as the technical side, I learned that from photography. So the way I learned better through experience. So I'm glad he did this. But he taught us those 3 things in class. Literally after he went over all of them, he's like, "You guys got it. You know what each one does." Blah blah blah. And we're like, "Yeah, like fine." Thinking we were gonna move on to the next thing. Yeah. He's like, "All right, walk around campus." And George Mason's a giant campus. And he was like, "Walk around campus." And he was like, "In the things that you see, I want you to find letters and take pictures of them." So it sounds strange enough, but so I found a tree with different branches. I found a Y in the tree. There was a round rail that had a pole that went into the ground, and then like the handrail, and it wrapped around through. Turned my camera sideways. I found an A. Turned it the other way. Found a P. Stuff like that.
Yap. What the hell were you spelling? Yap?
No, I wasn't spelling anything. I was trying to get the different. So we just had to get different letters of the alphabet.
Okay.
So I wasn't trying to spell anything specifically. I was just trying to find letters in different shapes and objects. But the tree, you'd be under the tree taking pictures of the branches. It's darker, so you have to increase the ISO or lower the shutter speed. So based on so this class is in the afternoon, so we're dealing with harsh sunlight.
Going to shade.
Exactly.
Direct sunlight.
So it was a great opportunity that day, and that. He only had us out for an hour and a half, and at a certain time he was like, "Come back, to the classroom at this time. We'll go over the pictures." So just in that 1 hour, it was just like being forced to shoot and figure it out. Like I learned how to shoot manual.
It clicked in that 1 hour. You were like, boom.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I mean, it's crazy because like I feel like photography is one of those things where you can only watch so many YouTube videos. You can only read so many books.
Yep.
Someone can only tell you, like he can tell you, but until you're actually in that scenario and you're slightly panicking, like how do I get
You're
this
forced
branch?
to figure it out.
Let alone when you've got like a model and a makeup artist and a hairstylist, and then like you better really know your shit at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So then from there, I just continued taking. This is 2015. So from there, I just continued taking pictures. Here and there.
So I think that was something that I found really interesting. Just when I lightly looked you up, looking at your website, that was something you mentioned in your bio. I don't really research hard people. I just I know you through your Instagram and how you present yourself, and I'm like, Corey's a cool ass dude.
Right.
Like I definitely want to interview him. He seems
that.
like he's hustling. Like I'm like, damn, he gets more work than me all the time. Like damn it, like this guy's really killing the game.
Yeah, I'm trying.
But the thing that I noticed about you, I was like, oh, you actually went to school for this, which was something that out of everyone I've even interviewed, including myself, I haven't ran into. Do you think it helped you?
To be honest with you, my driving force behind going to college was to be the first in my family to go to college. I didn't go to college because I wanted to do this post-college.
You went to college just to go to college?
Yeah. Spent the money. It is what it is. I learned, some things through school. Most of it I learned, just trial and error on my own. But back to George Mason, their video program is really new. And their video program is actually called Film and Video. but it's geared towards filmmaking, which I had no interest in.
Were you using a digital camera? Or was it like old school film stuff?
No, digital cameras.
Oh, okay.
And most of their classes, so part of the reason why I didn't gain too much from being there was because most of their classes were geared towards filmmaking, which I didn't really have an interest in. I just like content creation.
Like making, so you were already on the content.
Yeah, so this was, by the time I got into my major, it was 2014. I started doing this 2011, 2012, just on my own. So I'd been like 2 or 3 years in by the time I got into their program.
Oh, shit.
And their program just geared towards just making films. So sound and lighting class was for film, but obviously I can use that for other things. I had a screenwriting class, which I had no interest in writing, but it's cool to learn.
Damn.
Yeah, classes like that, like all the different
but
parts
these
of filmmaking.
seem like building blocks that definitely helped you, like learning lighting, learning audio, learning like how to tell a story with film. Like these definitely seem like some things that have concrete benefits.
Absolutely. There was the only thing I didn't like about the program is you couldn't test out of certain things. So, for example, I was forced to take an intro to video editing. Remember, I got into video in the first place from editing. So by this point, I was editing 3 or 4 years already, and it was like the basics of learning, the software and this, that, other thing. So for me, it was like, okay, like, I breezed through the class, and then after that, it was advanced editing.
Wait, did you say you couldn't get tested on it?
So they won't let you test out of courses.
So I thought you meant like there was no like actual test. It was like, I guess it's subjective art. But no, you're saying that like you couldn't just be like, look, guys, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Exactly.
Okay.
They didn't allow that.
Okay, they want that money.
Exactly.
Man. They're like,
exactly.
Yeah, we want that money for this semester.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I took that to be able to take advanced editing, thinking I would learn more. Walk into advanced editing, and as a graduation requirement as a senior, it's either you make a senior film or you work on a senior film. Me, I didn't want to get into filmmaking, so I worked on one of my friend's films. So the entire course for that semester for advanced editing was working on someone's senior film. So
that's chill.
It was chill, but I was expecting to learn something in advanced editing, which I didn't. There was one project that we did do that was focused on sound, and I don't remember my professor's name, but she's incredible. And she. The basis of the project was sound. So basically we had to create a story through sound. So we had to be able to, people had to be able to listen to it in our class and be able to tell what was going on. So I remember mine was anti-texting and driving. So what I did was when we played them in class, we had to close our eyes, and then at the end of our thing playing of just the audio, people had to guess. Yeah. So mine was an alarm went off, and then you hear like a text alert, and then you hear like someone get out of bed. It would have been too long if I had the whole like take a shower, brush your teeth thing. So I think I just ran the water for like washing your face. I had like tying shoes,
so
zipping up a jacket.
had like a time length and everything.
Well, no, not necessarily. Actually, we might have had one, but regardless, I just didn't want it to run too long.
Literally, I could tell you texting and driving in 2 seconds. It'd be like the and then a car horn. Well, I
stop texting. So I wanted to build more of a story behind it. So I started with like getting ready. So then I had footsteps going down the stairs, keys jangling.
So were you already tapped out like mentally at this point? Like were you like, okay, I know what I want to do. I'm here just to get the degree for my family's sake.
I was tapped out when I went in because I'm not a school person.
So at the beginning, you just kind of you just like picked something, I guess.
Well, so I was doing my gen eds, and all my gen eds I took in high school, which was annoying. But then I was like, all right, cool, I'm done with my gen eds. I'm in my major now. I'm gonna learn a bunch of stuff. I was expecting to be pushed more than I was, but I guess like I've been pushing myself hard already externally.
It's really interesting because I'm very much in the same boat where, except. What I did has a little less practicality than what I do now. I went to school for audio engineering.
Okay.
So / music production.
Right.
But it was weird because they trained us like we were composers. Like I was gonna write music. So I was like classically trained. Yeah. So it was weird because I had to learn music theory. I had to take sight singing.
Yeah.
I had to like do all these things, and I'm just like, guys, I just want to make electronic beats in the studio. I don't need to know how to like. I guess I can see how it helps.
Yeah.
But like I was very much in the same boat where it was like, okay, I just got to get this degree for my family, get that bachelor's because it'll get me some job.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because now at the end of it, I'm so far from that. Now it does help me like setting up this podcast to like how to work mics, how to get sound levels, why my video audio sounds at least halfway decent. But I don't know, it just feels like such a common thing with people our age. And how old are you?
I'm 24. I'll be 25 in January.
Oh, damn, I'm 28. So we're not that big difference. People our generation where it's like you go to college for this like societal pressure. Yet we're artists, creatives at heart, but we go because our parents are like, okay, you need to.
Well, my parents didn't make me. It was something that I wanted for myself.
Oh, I was forced like shit, but really? You wanted to go.
Yeah. So my, I have older cousins and stuff like that, and some of them have gone to school and not finished. Some of them have never gone to school, and then I'm the oldest of 3, so I wouldn't have set an example for my brothers as well. So that's, and then my parents, my mom started school, didn't finish. My dad never went to college at all, so I just wanted to be the first. My grandfather, he went to school, but school back then is way different than it is now. So I just wanted to be the first, definitely in my generation, but in my family to go to school. So that was. It wasn't. My parents didn't make me. They could have cared. My parents are super supportive, so they could have cared less. Like what I did, as long as I had a plan or a goal.
As long as you were working towards something.
Exactly. But yeah, so college was something I chose. It was just. So I chose George Mason.
But dang, dude, you've been in the game for a long time. You've been in the game for like 6 years.
Creatively, yeah.
Yeah, like you've been mentally working on this creatively, like whether
it was subconscious for a few years.
When did you decide to start? Like working towards a business, because you don't just one day open an LLC. I get like it doesn't happen. Like when did you like start mentally where you're like, okay, I'm gonna try and work to make this like a business? Were you like working at like McDonald's in the part time?
So I was through high school. I worked retail jobs. Continued into college.
Same. Where'd you work? I'm just curious. Where'd you work?
I worked at I'm bad at keeping jobs. So I worked at Gap, Outlet. Then I worked at Finish Line, then Columbia Sportswear, and then Nike. But at Nike, I stayed there for 3 years.
Yeah, I was hoping we worked at some of the same places in the mall or something. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, I stayed at Nike for 3 years. I really enjoyed that, but the reason why I left was because they started cutting hours. I was paying for my car, like trying to save for next semester. Exactly. So I had a friend that was teaching already, and she's like, hey, like, come in and apply, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to teach, like, whatever. But I had done basketball training because my dad's a full-time trainer under his own business, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
So you were working retail, and then what happened? Like when did you just make that?
So I was looking for receptionist jobs. I was like,
so that was after that Nike job.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the Nike job, they eventually cut me down to like I was working like 4 hours on like a Sunday afternoon.
That's pretty much like a go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Like we all know what that is.
Exactly. So I was like, and it was the whole.
I hate that.
Yeah, they just had too many employees, and it just got to the point where I was like, I'm not able to. I was able to pay my bills because I had money saved, but I wasn't able to save the amount of money that I wanted for the next semester. So I was looking at receptionist, front desk jobs, couldn't find any. Started dipping my savings. My mom's like, yo, you got to do something. I was talking to my friend. She mentioned that weeks go by, still don't have a job. So I came in, applied. They hired me.
Where?
It was Miniland Academy.
Oh, nice.
So then I applied. They called me back the same day. They wanted to interview me the next day, and then did my interview. They hired me the same day. I was working the next day.
Whoa, they really needed someone.
Yeah, so they were that job was amazing. I loved working with kids. The staff was great. The money was a lot better than the retail money I was getting, and then the hours, they were extremely flexible. My director was really great with my schedule. I would give her like my schedule by semester, and literally whatever hours I wanted to work around classes. Like I would work a split sometimes.
Oh, so
like
you're going to school and working at England.
Yeah,
I mean, that was some great client training, working with kids, then dealing with clients.
Yep.
It's like, what a great correlation.
Exactly. Learned a lot of patience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then so long story short, I continued working there. I stayed there for like 3 years. They promoted me to manager my last semester in school.
Was the thought manifesting at that point? It was still just like, I'm just working and going to school.
Exactly.
Okay.
So more so, like I wasn't really doing too much creative stuff when I was in school, just because I didn't have time between working and fulfilling my assignments for classes.
Very true.
So I continued working there. My last semester of college, they promoted me to manager, which was sick. I did a Redskins internship somewhere in between there, which is a great experience. Yeah. And then I asked them for more money. And because I was coming up on graduation, I was like, I'll have a degree, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, cool. They're like, well, since we promoted you to manager and you got, a pretty big raise, which I did, they're like, we can't raise you again right now. What we'll do is we'll raise you again in the fall. It's like, perfect. I understand. Fall comes around. They didn't raise me. I'm like, okay, I'll wait a little bit. Waited through the winter. Still didn't. We're looking at like December by now. Didn't get a raise. And then I was like, like I'm out of here. There's another school that opened up nearby. I knew the director that was going to be there, so I got the money that I wanted starting there. And then I worked there. That was from January, like late January through July. And during this time, it was slow for me. And by this time, I'm working full time. I'm done with school. I already graduated the previous spring. Yeah, exactly.
Graduated.
Yep. So the director that had hired me, she had some health complications, had to leave. They hired a new director, and she was just a nasty woman. We had great staff, and people started leaving. And I'm never one to leave because other people leave, but I was just very unhappy. Like I've never been that unhappy in my life. Like I would come home from breaks and just like, I never broke down like crying, but like I've never felt that low. I'm a big like gym person. Like at the time I was going to the gym almost every day after I got off. And I shut down going to the gym, wasn't doing anything creatively.
Whoa, yeah. She killed you that.
Yeah.
She was that.
Yeah, it was just a negative environment.
She was that negative. Wow.
Yeah, and you never realize sometimes like how...
Because you spend so much time with negative people that it starts to revolve.
So it wasn't even the staff, but it was just like the environment. It was just her. So it was like, I spent 8 hours a day there. I would go in at 8:30. I'm leaving at 5:30.
You should probably breathe on your goddamn neck.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like...
So the way I became full time was that it was April, and I was booked through May, mostly graduation pictures and random photo shoots and stuff. I was like, all right, like this, like, and at the time I was working Monday through Friday, so I only had my weekends open.
But it was that sort of low. Mm-hmm. It was that low. Mm-hmm. Is that what got you thinking about?
Well,
about
so I was in the low, but I was taking paid work. I wasn't doing anything creative. I was.
But you were still working on the side, just like doing gigs and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was just taking paid work on the weekends. That was really the only time that I had. So I remember it was April. I had a few shoots in April. Nothing, to break the bank. I was booked through May, mostly graduation and different fashion and just random photo shoots. I was like, all right, like this is sick, and then had a really good month in May. And then it was like the middle of May. My June weekends are already booked all the way out. And I was like, all right, this is sick. I was like, 2 good months. It's the middle of June, and I'm booked through July. And I was like...
And what kind of work were you getting booked for? Was it, what was it?
Around this time, it was a lot of graduation stuff. People graduate April, May. I think I had a wedding. Just like... I think a couple of modeling shoots. I think it was just a bunch of random stuff.
Just anything that came.
Yeah, and it just so happened, like... People started hitting, and I think another thing that helped is I started posting on Instagram more at this time. So people started hitting me up more. And so then I started looking at the money, and I was like, I'm making from, there's 4 weekends essentially per month. So 8 days, and I was doing about 2 shoots a day. So I was doing, let's say I was only working 2 hours per day. So I'm looking at, 16 hours a month? Opposed to the 40 that I was working at my full-time
just
job.
On the weekend.
Yeah, and I was like, and I remember, I think it was the month of June, or it was July, and I made the same amount on weekends that I did the entire month at my other job. That's and I was insane. Like, this isn't adding up. And you
actually enjoyed it.
Exactly.
And you were like, wait a minute, like, whoa.
So then I was like, well, what if I opened up my weekday schedule to be able to take in more work, and I'm not, first off, killing myself on weekends. Second off, working at this miserable job, and then just third, like able to do more work and something that I love. So I talked to my dad. Again, he's an entrepreneur, so he was all for it. Talked to one of my good friends, Ricky, out in California. He's from Ashburn, but he moved out there to pursue his whole fitness thing, which he's killing. And then just prayed on it a lot and just made the jump.
Wow.
Like late July, early August. Yeah, and then again, my dad's an entrepreneur. So
of last year?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So my dad make sure you get your business situation straight, your LLC, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And
that's dope. That's dope that you had like a parent to influence you into that, or to even just like check you, because there's no real entrepreneurship in my side of the family. So when I say, oh yeah, I want to do something creative for a living, everyone's just like,
they don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it. You got a degree. Why aren't you using your degree? Like, it's like, wait, why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense in their head. But at the same time, my family's very supportive, so I'm not ragging on them. I'm just saying that, like, it's just so cool that you had that, like, person be like, yeah, dude, it's totally possible.
So he does basketball training. So his is more of a physical kind of work instead of, like, creative.
It's still
him just being an entrepreneur to begin with, he understood it. And he's always been passionate about just helping kids, but he does it through basketball. So he just, like, understands, having a passion and working towards it for, and just doing what you love and making a living off of it. So I never, and same with my mom. My mom's not an entrepreneur, but she has always been supportive as well. And they've never been, they'll challenge you in regards to they want you to make sure that your decision makes sense, but they don't challenge you in the sense of not supporting you. So I've always had that support, which is amazing.
That's
I've been
a
blessed.
healthy way to look at it. Mm-hmm. Challenge your ideas, but don't knock them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. It's cool. So your dad was like, dude, why not? Mm-hmm. And you made the jump.
Yeah.
LLC made the jump.
Yep.
And so here we are.
That's crazy. And 3 months later.
How's it going? Like,
what's your
overall perspective on it, man?
I love it. I have zero regrets. My only regret is I wish I would have stayed at that job for maybe a month longer and just saved a little bit more money to just kickstart me from where I wanted to be, where I thought I just budgeted a little bit wrong. But I mean, I'm doing really well. It's been a good year. At the time, I only had about August through December as my first official time being full time. August and September into October were pretty great. November it slowed down, and December was like dry. And then going into 2018, January same thing, February same thing, mid-March was okay, and then April like blossomed again. So
crazy how
luckily I had some money saved, so I was fine through the winter. Had my car paid off by January. But what I took away from that was to budget my money accordingly throughout the year.
But it's something that I feel like you learn, and that's something that I'm about to learn. Like
right.
You saying that making me think, okay, shit. Like, thank God I've been saving a little bit, but
you just never know.
You don't know.
You just never know.
I mean, I think that's smart business for anyone.
Absolutely.
But let alone creatives who rely on getting gigs,
especially here because we're more seasonal. If we were to go down to Florida or to California, Texas, we're fine. True. It's warm all year round.
Very true.
But everything kind of gets shut down here in the winter. And then the other thing is like people don't have as much money to play with because they have holidays and they're either traveling or they're spending money on gifts and this, that, and the other thing. And people normally recoup their money come late winter, early spring. So that's another factor.
I think, I remember thinking about all these dynamics that go into it. I'm just really trying to get people to pay me around Christmas time for these cheesy Christmas photos I'm about to promote after this exhibition.
The other thing that that's helped me is if you can get into businesses for their holiday parties.
Oh, that's an interesting event.
Yeah, and a lot of times, especially if they're like nonprofits, they have a lot of food cash that they need to burn before the end of the year. So
really?
Yeah, so normally what I do...
Let me go write this down.
Yeah, pro tip really quick is sometimes if I know it's a nonprofit, I'll research the company. If I know it's a nonprofit, if they ask me how much something is or like how much to shoot their event, I'll ask them what their budget is instead of like me throwing out a number.
That is the best question I have learned in business is asking people what their budget is and going a little bit higher. Like, or like if in that case they tell you their actual budget. I don't think anyone ever really does.
They just normally give you a number.
They give you like a ballpark and then you always go a little higher.
Yep. So I figured that out fall of last year. A friend of mine, his mom.
That's a great little hack.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his mom. He's up in New York modeling, killing it. But his mom's still here, and she helps. She works at a nonprofit in DC, and so he referred her to me, and they had a neighborhood block party. It's like DC Housing is the nonprofit. They had a block party one weekend. They had 2 block parties, but separate weekends. And I asked her, she's like, "How much do you charge?" It was only 2 or 3 hours for each day, and middle of the afternoon on each Saturday. And she's like, "How much do you charge?" And I was like, let me ask this differently. I was like, "Well, did you guys have a budget in mind?" And she was like, "Yeah." This is great. She was like, "We can pay you $750 per day."
You were like,
yeah. And after that, I learned my lesson to just ask if someone hits me up for a photo shoot, I have my rate. But when it comes to corporate clients and just businesses,
it's way different.
I ask them what their budget is because a lot of time I would have never charged her $750 for 2 hours of taking pictures at a neighborhood block party.
Hell no, I wouldn't buy that either.
I made $1,500 in 4 hours.
That's fucking insane.
Crazy.
And the best part is that like editing the photos took like an hour.
So I mean, event photos I normally do. I'll select all the ones that I really really like. After I upload them, throw them in Lightroom, batch edit. Takes me hour max, normally like 30 minutes. So if you're talking about real hours of work, we're saying they're both in DC. I live in Loudoun County, so let's say an hour commute, 2 hours at each is 3 hours a day. So we're looking at 6 hours and an hour to edit each one. So that's 8 hours. 8 hours, I made $1,500.
Sounds pretty good to me. and on top of that, the odds of you meeting another client on the job. Then on top of that, you get to interact with people. On top of that, you get to be on your feet and you get to be doing active. You're not just sitting behind a desk for that whole time.
I got fed.
And you get fed.
I got fed.
And that's the best part.
Yep.
That's great, man.
Crazy, right?
Dude, I am so about this nonprofit life.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So definitely looking at nonprofits, especially, so
fall
time.
Do you shoot a lot of events? Because in my opinion, I've always tacked you as a photographer who lives in the fitness industry.
So, are you asking financially or creatively?
I think that's a great question because you could ask me the same question.
Yeah.
I'd probably come with the same answer.
Yeah. So I'll just tackle both. Financially, events. Which I don't post too much on social media. I have it's just I don't want to be a club photographer on Instagram. I just don't.
But club photography pays like ass.
It does. That's the reason why I don't really do it.
Hell no.
It was kind of crazy because there was probably a year and a half where I really wanted to get into it, and I struggled to get into it. And then I finally cracked into it. I started with bars actually.
Oh really?
Got into bars, built
getting into
portfolio.
Event photography in general, or getting into
just clubs.
Just clubs.
Just clubs. I was thinking it was a breadwinner. Started with bars.
Yeah, you're just chasing at that point. You're just chasing
because you see how much money they bring in. So it's like, okay, photographers get paid well.
Yeah, they got a budget. Why not?
Exactly.
I make you look lit.
Yeah.
I get to be in a club.
Exactly.
You're a young dude.
So then I got I started getting club jobs because of my bar portfolio. I did a couple different events for different formals when I was at Mason. So my portfolio looked fine to be able to. People trusted me doing their clubs. So I did a few clubs. I've shot at most of the clubs in DC, and
we talked about that. Remember?
Yeah, we were DMing that one day.
We were talking about how the club photography is just trash.
Yeah, so it's awful because DC is a very creative area, even though most people on the outside don't look at it that way. And there's a lot of talented people in the area. If you look at it, most of the talented photographers don't do club stuff. And if you go to the clubs, whether it's their website or their social media pages,
it looks terrible.
It looks awful.
It looks like some terrible Jersey Shore
exactly
commercial douchey.
And the reason is, this isn't a jab at anyone that does club photography or is in the club scene now, or the photographers that are shooting in DC clubs. But I know promoters personally and club owners, and they're willing to pay the cheapest rate for. They don't care what it looks like as long as they're not taking much money out of their pocket. So which is awful branding. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think a lot of what it is it's not so much the photographers. I think it's just the overall brand of that club, and the fact that maybe the idea that these other third parties come into the club, and then they have their event, and the club is like, okay, well, you just take care of your own damn self. But then the club is left posting these cheesy flyers on the weekends, like, come to Dirty Bar, and they all have the same, the same Ciroc vodka pouring into, like, the champagne glass. And it's just, they leave so much money on the table by not building their brand and paying, good money for a photographer to come make the hype video or to take fun photos of the bartender with enormous boobies, spinning bottles or whatever it is.
Right, that's what brings people in. And it's kind of crazy because I don't go out too much, but I do go out when I do travel. And
it's branding.
Yeah, exactly. I've been to places in Miami, and like their pictures don't look like that at all.
Dude, they are on their shit.
Exactly,
because it's so competitive.
Exactly, and then I go out to California all the time. I don't really club in San Diego, but I have friends in LA, so I'll party with them when I'm in LA, and I'll just drive down to San Diego. But you look at when you're in the club, the photographers are amazing, and then when you look at the pictures after, the photographers are amazing. When I was in LA last time, I went to a couple of my friends. They're really good friends with a big club promoter in LA. So they got us the hookup. We went to a day party that Drake was actually hosting.
And we get tight photos of Drake performing.
So the photographer there, he I don't remember what body he had, but he had a higher quality DSLR body, and his lens was a 70-200. It's not a cheap lens. And he was like climbing on shit, taking pictures. Now, he got amazing pictures of Drake, and I know this because I didn't find his Instagram. I saw the pictures everywhere on Instagram the next day. They were on Drake's page, and then Drake's posse. They all had pictures. Them. They posted them, and then I saw enough of them. They ended up. This is before the Explore page now, where they cater it to different things that you like. It was no, it wasn't as specific as it is now, but it was moving towards that. But because I had been looking at the Drake pictures, I saw more of those pictures reposted on Drake fan pages, and then I eventually found the guy's photography page. He wasn't a huge photographer, but he did a lot of club stuff for that club, and all of his work was amazing. I know they paid him well because first off, they bring in a lot of money. Second off, his quality is amazing. If you have Drake reposting your pictures, you've kind of made it.
Yeah, if your quality is enough where even if Drake's not the guy reposting it, but the person managing is oh, this looks good enough, then. Mm-hmm. And so it was a day party though too. Mm-hmm. Oh, even better. You don't got to use flash or anything. That's sick.
Yeah. So after that, especially when I came back and I was still doing a little bit of club stuff, I was like, this isn't it. And I'm not gonna. They benefit from me taking a short and me taking the pictures for them. I don't first off, I live 45 minutes from DC. Clubs don't get popped until 11:30, 12. I'm not going to spend my 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. in a club for $100. I'm just not doing it.
And that's literally how much people think they can pay.
Exactly.
I remember I reached out to this promoter mostly because I was curious how much. Mm-hmm. I knew I wasn't going to take it because I knew it was going to be low. Mm-hmm. But I reached out, and I'm not going to say any names. I won't call them out because I like what they do. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, how much? And even he was like, whoa. He's like, bro. He's like, you sure you want to do this? Because he knew that my level was above it. He knew I was. But I was like, yeah, let me just see. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, so we need you to get there at 5 p.m. and then you need to work until 2 a.m. and we'll give you $150.
But the thing is, people take... I think another issue is the fact that people take it. If one day all photographers in this area just said that they weren't taking that, they would be forced to pay more money. But the problem is people are so thirsty that they're willing to take that money.
But do you think they'd recognize... it doesn't get popping, but also the quality is different.
So they know. They just don't care. I have friends that work for clubs. I have friends that are promoters for clubs, and I've talked to them about it, and they have said that they know. And
they just don't care.
They care. Whoever's paying doesn't care. They care in regards to keeping their money. They don't care in regards to the quality.
Do you think, how do you fix the problem? Do you think that, maybe someone starts a club promotion photo video agency and goes to the club and makes a private deal? And
so I've thought about doing that myself. The problem is I don't know enough photographers. So there's a lot of great photographers in this area, but nightlife photography is very different than shooting portraits.
Yeah, a lot of people... Well, come on, dude. Anyone can shoot a natural light portrait.
Exactly.
And edit the eyes and make the skin look good.
But bouncing light off of different walls and stuff like that, and in a club is very different. Flash photography is not easy.
It's a whole different beast.
And I learned that through weddings, actually. So I was blessed to learn that through weddings. But I just don't trust enough people because there's tons of clubs in DC. And you're looking at Friday and Saturday nights, and sometimes you're looking at day parties or people.
Well, what do we do, man? After this, why don't we just start?
We can do it. We can do it. I just don't want to stretch myself too thin.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
And I also don't want to bring in people that I don't trust, and then end up that reflects poorly on me.
Big facts.
But I have honestly thought about starting a company that
I feel like that's
handles all the media for DC.
That's like a training, thing, and then on top of that, it's also a trust thing. As far as being a boss and CEO, you have to be able to let go of some control in hopes that it comes close to your quality.
Exactly.
And I'm sure sometimes you'd be surprised.
Right.
But I mean, that's a really interesting idea. I feel like that would have to be the deal. Mm-hmm. Is you make the deal with what's a big book called around here?
Living room.
Decades. Living room. I want a monthly retainer. We're gonna deliver this, and this for your socials. Here you go.
It's doable. I mean, I want to do it with you, but we just have to find enough. I mean, again, there's so many clubs in DC. It's doable. We just have to find.
You could take over the town. That, dude.
Literally though.
You could literally take a smaller club or a bar, work it for 4 or 5 months, give them this amazing online social presence, and then everyone's take my money.
Right.
That's crazy.
And then it's a lot of stuff like that leads to different avenues. I was posting club stuff. This guy recently hit me up a few weeks ago. We had scheduling issues. I ended up shooting he's a new owner of a restaurant in Chantilly.
I think I saw some of that in your story.
Yeah, it was this past week, earlier in the week.
I feel like I've been seeing so much food photography recently.
So,
not just on your page, but
yeah.
just in
So
general.
as far as getting it, kind of weird. As far as me personally with food photography,
and this is still what pays the bills.
Yeah.
Very much.
To be honest with you, most of my money comes from video.
Yeah.
My rate for video is a lot higher. A lot of times I'll sneak in pictures for people when I do video, depending on what the topic or what I'm shooting. So I can convince them to pay me X amount of money because I'm like, hey, like I'll give you some pictures too, and they're like, oh, like cool, and I normally tell them like, hey, this is my video rate, this is my photography rate. I'm gonna give you my video rate and I'll give you some photography. So really, it's not much work that's extra on my part.
How do you charge for video? Because that's just something that I'm so familiar with. What's like your approach to it?
So it depends. I have a flat that I start out the gate with.
Baseline.
Basic. Based on additional stuff that they want, then I'll increase or decrease. I don't take a lot of music videos because I want higher production value, and the higher the production value, the higher I'm going to charge. So I have my base, right? And then that's one location, like that's it. We'll do several takes, but like no outfit changes. If you want to do second location, second outfit change, increases. And then normally people don't do more than 2 or 3, and then by that point after that, if they want drone stuff, I charge a minimum for my drone stuff in addition.
Dang.
So a lot of people don't want to pay what I charge for music videos because they're like, all right, like I have 3 locations and I want drone stuff. And I'm like, that's fine, but you're looking at this price, and like, if you want to pay that, that's cool.
You're looking at thousands of dollars.
Exactly. And I'm just like, music videos will work. And I'm not going to, I'd rather take that time. Like, if you're not going to give me that money, I'd rather take that time to, do some research, find another client. Or I can do 2 shoots in that day. People
see a Cole Bennett video and they're like, hey, make me a video like this. And you're like, yeah, okay, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. It looks easy. But
exactly.
It's not.
So I did a music video there's an artist named Cam Wells out from the Fairfax, Oakton area. I did his music video summer of last year. I started getting hit up. That video blew up on Facebook, got like 30,000 views.
Damn.
I think 20 of those came in a week.
That's lit.
Yeah, shout out to Cam. But I started getting hit up by people
for videos.
Yeah, because I shot it, I edited it, the whole 9, and I told people, I was like, look, like this is what it's gonna cost for like what you want. And I didn't get a lot of music video. I didn't accept a lot of music video work after that, just because like I wasn't gonna short myself, because like that was an all day shoot.
That's a good question. Like, when they are not moving on your price, do you find that budging on your price leads to dealing with a client that is of lower?
It depends.
I'm trying to be careful with my wording.
Yeah, because everyone doesn't have the means. It depends. Some people they'll DM me or email me. I always give priority to people that email me. It's just like, I just love receiving emails opposed to DMs. Like, I have my email like button right there in my Instagram bio. It's on I have a form submission on my website. Like, it's easy. I get the DMs are easy, but to me, emails are just that much more professional. So I try to help out the people more if they email me. But regardless, when people tell me straight up, like, I'll give them a rate, and they tell me straight up, I can't afford that. I appreciate what you do and respect your work. So when I have the money, I'll come back to you. I have them back. I'm like, I appreciate your honesty, because I remember what it's like. I'm not balling right now, but I remember like what it was like not to be able to afford certain things.
So instead of you saying, okay, I'll meet you, you just say, okay, thank you so much.
Well, no. So I mean, if they're straight up like that, I'll be like, you know what? You seem genuine. And I'll cut them, like, I never cut more than like $50. But normally that's enough to,
Really?
Yeah. And because they know it's like, I don't do a lot of sales or anything like that. They know it's an opportunity, and they're speaking to me directly. I'm not posting some flyer on Instagram. Normally though, I don't budge. And it depends on what it is. Photo shoots, I'll normally budge a little bit. Especially if it's outdoor. If it's studio, like, they're always paying for studio time. I never pay.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, videos, I almost never budge. Or what I'll do is I'll try to get them to buy more than one video, and then I'll drop their price for them. So it's like, okay, you're paying less.
So sometimes you'll come down like a little bit to see if
I never do anything crazy.
Yeah, you won't go like hundreds of dollars.
Exactly. No, absolutely not.
I feel you on that. And what I was really trying to get at was, I feel like every time I've taken a gig that was just like, all right, well, I ain't got nothing to do that day, might as well take the gig. it's way below my rate, but better than nothing, right? Every time I've taken that gig, it was a bad experience. It was like it was almost like I wish I didn't take. I wish I didn't take that gig.
Learning experience.
It was such a learning experience because it seems like the cheaper the client, the worse they are as dealing with them on a client to customer basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I just got to the point that I was so confident in my work and the level of quality that I was bringing that I knew a lot of people, at least in this area, weren't able to provide. It was like, why? Like, I'm looking at, this person, that person, the other person. And then they're looking at.
So are you moving away?
No. But I was just like, I'm providing some of the best quality in the area. Why? There's more creative artists in DC, but in Northern Virginia, I'm killing it.
Is it a you problem or a client problem? Or just their expectations problem? Or is it not the right clients? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess a little bit of all of those. It's tough. I just feel like I provide a certain level of quality that is hard to find, and people should pay for that, which is fair on my part. And then a lot of people don't realize, like,
it's respectable though.
Exactly. Like, I'm driving to the shoot, I'm shooting, and like, cool, you paid me for the shoot. My job's not done. I have to edit. You know what I mean? So yeah, you paid me for an hour shoot, but I have an hour of editing, 2 hours of editing. With videos, I'm looking at multiple hours.
Yeah, videos.
So, I just got to I budgeted a lot my first year, and then I got to the point where it's like I've not budgeted on prices and lost a lot of work, probably thousands of dollars worth, and I'm not mad at it.
But
I'm not mad at it. Yeah. I established my value. I established that I wouldn't budge. People still hit me up all the time, like, hey, how much do you charge for this? And I'll tell them, like, oh, well, like, a couple other people that I talk to, they're charging this. Can you do that? And I'm like, no. And I don't say this specifically, but you contacted me for a reason. There's a reason why you're not working with those people, and they gave you their price, and you're contacting me now.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not Best Buy. I'm not price matching.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you're gonna come to me and expect the level of quality that you see that I provide, expect a higher quality. Not a higher quality price, but a higher price point that matches that quality. And again, there's a reason why you've talked to this person, that person, and you didn't book with any of them, but you're contacting me. It's because I have something that they don't have.
And
so why should I cheapen myself to their price if you're coming to me and you want, like, you don't pay $100 at the grocery store, right? And expect to get a bunch of free shit on top of that.
Like if you buy normal chicken, that shit's not organic. You know the organic's better.
Thank
you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. You don't negotiate with the cashier like, hey, this regular chicken costs this much. I want the organic one, but I'm only willing to pay the same amount as the regular one.
They say no, you can't get it.
Exactly. So why am I going to do that to my quality of work? I just respect myself too much at this point.
But at the same time, I think it's respectful because I think it's always good to be ambitious about your pricing. I don't know where I heard that recently, but I recently heard someone talk about pricing ambitiously. And as creatives, we should always be doing that. We should always be pushing, like, our price tag for something. We should always be pricing things so that it makes us feel slightly uncomfortable. Like that price where you feel like...
Money talks are always difficult.
They're always difficult. And I feel like questions like we said before, like, what's your budget, make it easier, it makes it more in our
puts it in their lap.
As opposed to us guessing and shortchanging ourselves. But I feel like the pricing ambition strategy ambitiously is always a good thing because you can always talk down instead of talking up your price later, especially if it's a good relationship and things goes well. Hey, I want to shoot with you again. You said, fuck, I undersold that one. I thought this was...
There's clients that I currently have, and, not downplaying them. They're amazing people, amazing companies, but there's a couple clients that I have, well, one primarily, and I lowballed myself the first time.
Way back when.
And they're still a client a year later.
But just like a little bit of you's like... Ugh.
Yeah, and it's more of a relationship for me, so I really don't care at this point. But looking at, it was... And my price now isn't too much different from then, but like just another $50 or $100 per project.
That's a big deal.
Like that adds up over the course of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it were $100 more, I'm only working with them, once a month. Over a year, it's still $1,200. So again, relationships are really big. So I'm not tripping over it too much, but I've had experiences where I've messed myself up. Lowballing myself initially, and then I do a good job, retain the client, and I'm stuck with that number. It's hard to increase. You can always decrease, like you said.
So it seems like we're, and I say we because a lot of full-time photographers in this area are in the same boat of, even just photographers I even know in New York, I can't say just us, I can't be specific, where what you love to do in our photography, well, it's still photography, we're not necessarily doing that thing, because creatively, like I've noticed about you, like even like when I'm thinking about what am I going to clickbait this, I'm like thinking, oh, Corey Gray, fitness photographer, like fitness lifestyle photographer. Yeah. But it's so crazy because in actuality, it's everyone does a little bit of everything, but everyone prefers something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that thing you prefer is the thing that you wish you were getting paid all that money for. Yeah. That you're working for.
Yeah. So for me, most of my income, the stuff that I do that pays my bills, I don't put on Instagram.
Same. I don't put any of my event stuff on Instagram.
It's not aesthetically pleasing on Instagram. It's not stuff that I want to put on Instagram.
Facts, dude. It's not even on your website though.
Most of my
I haven't seen any events on your website.
I have some weddings.
Yeah, it wasn't hard.
So if you go to my video page, I have it broken down, and then go to events, and it's formal and social. Formal, I've had some college formals, and all my wedding stuff is in there. Socials, all my nightlife stuff. But in the video section specifically, a lot of it's just like kind of boring. I don't want to say boring, but kind of boring stuff. I've done a lot of interviews, a lot of.
How do you feel about? That's one thing that I always struggle with with the website, or just thinking wise. I'm like, man, like I really should put the fact that I put events on my website, but the other part of me is like, man, I do kind of want to keep it like fashion editorial, sort of like portrait and fine art, because those are the gigs I want. But at the end of the day, someone might be coming to my website to hire me for events, so I'm always on that dilemma of.
So like, the way I did it for my site is I did a grid. I did a grid on my homepage.
I noticed that, yeah.
And I put all the styles of work that I would like to make a living off of and get more work from on that homepage, and it's more visually pleasing. So I have some fashion stuff, some portrait stuff, some concert
your
stuff,
highlights,
all on the homepage. But but I do that to attract people into the site. Like, oh, this homepage is sick. I love this style, or I love these kinds of pictures. I want to see more, and I have limited tabs on top. It's like home, about, photo, video, contact. So it's really easy to navigate.
So why do I pigeonhole you as a fitness like industry photographer?
Because you're used to looking at my Instagram.
Okay, but is that your creative love, or?
If I could make a living off of anything, the three things I would do: concerts, probably number one, and then these are interchangeable, either portraits or fashion, or not. I'm sorry, either portraits or fitness, and fashion would probably fall at number 4.
Well, fitness is in some way fashion at the same time, because whether it's like a fitness brand or something like that, I think a lot of times fitness isn't just like someone doing push-ups. It's like Gymshark or Nike. Yeah. But it's got the fitness elements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why I got that impression, and like.
But if you look at my website, you kind of can't tell what.
I guess it is just the Instagram. The fact that like you are in shape and like what is so. Do you own 413 Apparel?
So
I think that's maybe why I think like that too.
Probably.
Can you explain what that is?
So 413 Apparel is a fitness apparel brand, athleisure wear, that my friend Ricky that I mentioned earlier, he's a bodybuilding.com athlete. I'm best friends with his younger brother, Des. Des is a personal trainer in the Northern Virginia area. Gotta push the biceps up.
Bro, dude, before you came, bro, I did like 50 push-ups.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
And then I railed a line of pre-workout.
We can curl some cameras in here or something if you'd like.
Bro, last night I didn't go out last night. I went out and I hit the buys and tries just for this
interview. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
I had to get the night before pumped because I knew I was gonna be sitting next to you. I was like, Corey, please wear a hoodie. Like I don't want you to make me look small.
Here I am. I'll even throw the hood over if you need me to.
No, I'm just kidding.
So a little bit of a backstory. Me and Des have always known of each other, but we were never friends. This is like from high school.
Bodybuilder college.
Des is Ricky's younger brother.
Okay.
Ricky's a few years older. Ricky's 28. And so me and Des we always knew of each other. We had mutual friends, but me and him were never actually friends. We both graduated college at the same time. He went to Radford. I went to Mason. And, we followed each other on Instagram, and I saw him posting, fitness stuff, here and there. But most of the time it was, camera against the wall or stuff like that, recording. At the time, I hadn't done any fitness stuff. I didn't know anyone that was into fitness. I didn't, but it was something, I've always been the kind of person that I want to try everything, see if I like it or not.
I feel you on that.
So at the time, I was still trying to find my way, and I was like, hey, I see you're doing your thing, your fitness stuff. If you ever need someone to take some pictures and record it for you, I'll do it for you, no charge at all. I'm trying to build my port. He was like, yeah, of course, blah, blah, blah. We met up one day, and we just clicked. We've been, like, best friends since that was, like, 2 years ago. Ricky's his older brother. At the time, Ricky was already in California. So Ricky came home one day it was around Thanksgiving. So we're coming up on 2 years ago that I've known Ricky. And he saw, their brothers, they follow each other, obviously. So he saw all the stuff that his brother had been posting that I shot. So he asked, Des, he's like, yo, talk to your boy, see if he'll shoot some stuff for me. And Ricky he was a bodybuilding.com athlete already. So that was a good look for me.
Yeah,
so I was like, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm down, whatever, we could do it. So I shot some stuff from real quick. He loved it. It was better than what he had been posting. There's another guy named Brian DaCosta. Brian lives in LA now, but Brian's from the Arlington area. And the two of them worked out one day. I had done small workout videos. Two of them worked out one day in Arlington, and I shot them working out. He loved the video. And that was only like my second or third fitness video that I did. Fast forward to that was fall, winter. Fast forward to the spring. And Ricky already had 413. It was 413 Health and Fitness at the time. So he was doing personal training, online training, had clients and stuff like that in California. And he made a tank top. And basically he made the tank top because he wanted something that was more form-fitting and fit and was cut the way that he liked. So he got one custom made from LA. And he posted on Instagram. People started hitting up like, yo, I want that, blah, blah, blah. And at first he was just making sales. People at home, people at church.
The stringer.
Yeah.
Where it's like, just stops
right
above the nipple. Right above the nipple.
Right there. And so people, it was just simple black, had stitch 413 right here, 413 on the inside. And people gravitated towards it really quickly. Then, he realized, he could make a profit from it and see it turning into something bigger. So then Des started helping. So, then fast forward to late summer. Late summer, early fall. Ricky hits me up and he's like, I think he had made one or two other colors already in the tank top. And he was like, it started to take off, and they realized that they needed to put so they're making sales from their personal Instagrams, Facebook at the time. There's no website,
no real marketing.
Yeah, there's no
like
Instagram page for it or anything like that. And he's like, yo, I really want you to be a part of the brand, handle all media. He's like, I trust you. We've shot together before. You have creative reign. And I'm never one to, someone could offer me, $10,000 for, a photo shoot tomorrow. I'll still think about it. I'm not going to jump at it because there could be, different stipulations, stuff like that. I sat on it for a little bit, and one day I hit him up. He was actually at Olympia, the Olympia competition in Las Vegas. I hit him while he was there, and I was like, I'm all in. Whatever you guys need, I'm there.
As a creative photo, okay.
So my official title is Director of Media Operations.
Nice.
So I handle all shoots. I choose people.
But you're not actively shooting it, all of it.
I shoot everything.
Oh, wow, okay.
So what he does is he gets everything made in LA. We all brainstorm together. Gets everything made in LA. He'll drive up there from San Diego, pick it up, come down to San Diego, ship it to me. I shoot whatever, whenever, whoever. Do all the editing. They'll select the pictures that they want. I do all the editing. For videos, I have creative reign as well.
That's gotta be pretty cool. I mean,
it's dope.
So yeah, I guess that's where my notion came from, is the fact that is your baby. It's almost you're almost part owner of that company.
Yeah. So I mean, when we get to shares and stuff like that, I'll have a big chunk. Right now it's it's the three of us. We handle most of the execution and production stuff and pre-production, post-production. He has an assistant. Shout out to Shelby. She does most of the shipping and stuff like that. We have our group of athletes. One is Erin. She lives near me in Ashburn. We have Lynn and Rich. They're in San Diego area. And then we have Alyssa and Des. Alyssa we've had since this past spring.
Dang, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
That one thing that I always wonder about fitness photography is shooting in a gym, because that is the worst.
It's tricky.
Lighting. What's your strategy?
I've had gyms that were great. I've had gyms that were awful. So to begin with, I don't frame shots. I don't have them pose. I let them work out.
Work out and let me hit.
You can't. If it's organic, you can't fake that it was organic, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You can, if something's not organic, you can fake to make it look organic, but you can't if something's organic, it's organic.
So that's what you focus on.
Yeah. So and then a lot of times, like the people that I'm shooting, especially like, Dez is super into fitness. Like he's a personal trainer. Ricky's super into fitness. Most of the people that I work with, unless it's like a lifestyle shoot, they work out frequently. So it'll be one of their workout days and I'm shooting them. So I'm not going to interrupt their workout and have them fake a workout for them to have to come back to the gym later to work out. So I just let them literally go through their workout.
So you don't tell them to put fake plates on or anything?
No. Literally let them work out. As far as the lighting and stuff goes, I mostly shoot with my 35 millimeter. It goes down to f2, so that helps in low light.
Yeah, that's the same. Are you using flash in there too?
I never use flash.
Really?
Yeah, I never use flash.
I was looking at the photos. I was like, damn, the lighting in here looks really good. I was curious, maybe like you're bouncing off the back or something like that.
When I was at Olympia this past year,
I shoot at nice gyms too.
Yeah.
I feel like if you shot like La Vie, it's like natural bay windows.
There's some dope gyms that I've shot at. There's some also awful ones, and then also depending on I normally use auto white balance, and then I'll just color correct in post.
I think that's
common. But there's some gyms depending on their color scheme, my camera will do funky things color wise, so I really have to color correct. So certain gyms are annoying to shoot in depending on the color of their walls or their color scheme in the gym too.
I was wondering if there's like some sort of tip or like something different about shooting in a gym that like was different than like an event or shooting at anything else.
I don't really have one. Most people typically do 3 or 4 sets of whatever exercise they're doing. So I normally do 1 set of pictures first, and then while they're doing that set, I'll plan how I'm going to shoot the video or the shots that I need. So then they'll get their 30-second to 1 to 2 minute break, start the next set, and I'll have already figured out the shot that I'm going to do for video.
On that specific machine or whatever it is.
Yep.
You shoot it. Okay, I got my lighting.
Exactly.
Then you find the best angle.
Exactly. So then I normally, if they do 3 sets, I'll do the first set pictures so I can plan, and then I'll do 2 sets of video just so I have a backup. If they do 4 sets, I'll do 2 pictures, 2 video. I'll alternate picture, video, picture, video. I don't really have any tips. I've just kind of had to figure it out. And again, like, they're actually working out, so I'm not going to ask them.
Yeah, it's not a fake workout. It's not like, hey, just come hit arms for a workout.
Exactly.
Or like, hey, go just do squats. But girls do squats every workout anyways, so what's it matter?
So a lot of the girls in the fitness industry and just girls all the time, they see their Fitspo posting like, their squats or they want, summer race butt.
Right. Yeah, they're doing the lunges.
Exactly. So a lot of times when I shoot women, I have them do upper body to show that women can be strong, women can curl some weights like men, women can bench press, women can hit back.
Or is it because you really just don't want to be that creep in the gym who's like, go 90, girl?
I've done some leg workouts.
You have no choice, I guess.
Yeah, you have no choice. But I mean, as long as the people that you're working with are comfortable with you, doing whatever, then you're in good standing.
It's like, look, woman, this is how you make your money. It's that ass, okay?
Sell that program.
I'm gonna have to get some.
Sell that program.
Don't think about the fact that I'm gonna be editing your ass moving. Don't think about that. Because to me, it's just an object at that point.
Yep. But I've had some really strong girls, really great girls that I've worked with, and it's great to see that they do upper body or show that women can be strong. I think that needs to be shown more in the fitness industry instead of people seeing their favorite fitness model and her big butt
always doing
squat. Yeah, exactly. Hitting the split leg pose, turning over the shoulder, and she only posts squat videos. That's not real life. So
it's not. So you kind of just try to break that stigma as a photographer. Like maybe try to show arms and. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I'm completely joking about the whole, like, taking photos
of
your
I know,
ass.
I know.
But for clarity for people out there, it's interesting because if you're a photographer and you've been in these situations with, like, extremely hard women with features, whatever, you're so disconnected from that. I was talking about this with Illust. I was like, dude.
I saw that.
I was like, dude, how are you in these rooms with these girls who are like half naked that like
if you're doing it for the right reasons or you're passionate and focused on what you're doing, you're not thinking about this girl's like half naked or this girl's nude.
If you are
that's not a thing.
Then you're in it for the wrong
exactly.
I think that's what it is. It's like this art switch comes on where like it turns off like a sexual drive. I don't know how to describe it, but like you're no longer just like that's an ass in yoga pants. You're like thinking about the backdrop and this and that. It's such a different connection at that point.
I've done half naked and like like nude shoots and stuff like that, and I'm not worried about like her ass is out or like I can see her boobs. It's like I'm more focused on making sure everything's in frame or my lighting's fine. Yeah, than like oh, like, her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get, like, if you're in it for the wrong reasons.
You can tell when you see those pictures, too, what it was about. You're like, your lighting's messed up, your angle's bad, and it's just ass.
And then it's, like, clearly, so bad that, like, you can't even fix it in post. Like, Photoshop and Lightroom's, like, not going to save you at this point.
The ass is perfectly exposed, but everything else just looks like trash.
Yep, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the future? Because you're super young in business, yet you are extremely successful from my understanding. You're full-time, getting crazy gigs. That's $750 for an event. What are you aiming towards? I'm not gonna ask like a 5-year plan. That's stupid.
No. I have some goals.
What are you working toward? I don't know.
For me, this whole 2 years has been just not to go with the flow, because I've been driven the entire time, but I've never expected any of these things to happen. So I didn't expect to be in charge of media for a fitness apparel company. I didn't expect to be going to Vegas because we partnered with bodybuilding.com. I didn't expect to be shooting Grant Cardone in Florida. Like, a lot of these things have just happened. And I think the more I continue to work, the more opportunities like that are going to present themselves. So to a degree, I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. As far as my goals, I want to start a production company before I'm 30, and then I want to have a full studio. Those are my goals by the time I'm 30.
Bigger than this, right?
Like big. Because I think
windows.
I think there's a problem with at least in this area. I've looked at studios in New York and California. There's tons stuff. Of them. Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's a bunch of them. They're really great studios, and they're a lot cheaper than here. Here there aren't as many studios. I love
stupid expensive.
Yeah, so I love Union 206 in Alexandria. Amazing studio. They have 3 rooms. I've shot in all of them, several times. Love that studio. The hourly is $90 an hour.
That seems a lot.
It's $90 an hour with the 2-hour minimum.
Whoa.
You're paying almost $200 every single time at least every single time you shoot there. There's a studio that I use. It's actually a camera store called Ace Photo near my house. Whenever I have product shots, I shoot there because it's only $70 an hour. They don't have a minimum. So I'd rather drive 5 minutes from my house and pay $70 for an hour than drive an hour and then be forced into paying.
How's that rate different in like New York or LA or something?
I've looked at different studio rates in different areas, and $50 an hour.
That's how much I charge here.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a normal rate.
I also don't have a giant studio, but like that seems like a reasonable.
It's reasonable. Like, you'll get more business, and then like some of them have minimums. I shot at when I was in LA this past summer. I shot at FD Studio for the first time. A lot of like big time photographers.
I don't know what that is.
Look it up when you get a chance. They have it's in the fashion district, but they have
in New York,
and this is in LA.
Oh, LA.
They have 3 different buildings, and the area is highly congested. A lot of people. There's a lot of shops and people, just mom and pop shops, and make their own clothes and stuff like that, like boutiques. And there's 3 buildings in the area, all within that city. They have several studios within each building. The website's incredible. It shows you great details as far as like what comes with the studios. But basically, it overlooks the city of LA. It's like windows all the way around. Obviously, you can close them and stuff like that. They have amazing props. I've taken some. I only shot there once with my friend Zoe, but
and it's $50 an hour.
Yeah.
So like it's
so
crazy,
and then
right?
we booked it for an hour. So we booked it for 2 hours because she was running late. So even then it was $100. So we split it and paid $50 each.
That's not bad.
In LA, overlooking the city of LA. So it's doable. So I just want, like, first off, there aren't enough studios around here. At least not big scale studios.
I think there is a push because I've been just kind of, I've been doing a lot of events. So I've been meeting a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
And there is a push towards helping creatives, but only specific creatives. I've noticed.
What do you mean by specific?
So, like, I can think of 2 organizations off the top of my head. There's one called the Halcyon Studios, which I was supposed to go to this morning, but since I didn't sleep last night, I didn't go to.
Right.
They had open studios.
Okay.
And I wanted to go because it's like a super private, like they have like a small stable amount of artists, right? Like I think it's maybe like 7 to 10, like something like that. Only like per 6 months,
right,
in this beautiful old school with beautiful studios, but they only help them every 6 months. It's not for everyone.
Right.
And these people are like social justice warriors. Like I was looking at the photographer, and he was like, he shot the social activism of the starvation in Kenya. And I'm like, oh God, fucking gag me. You know, like I'm just like,
it's a great cause. However,
but then he gets like 6 months paid for. He gets this amazing studio. He gets living in DC. He gets this. He gets all these grants. He gets put on, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. You know, and then I noticed the same thing. There's another company. Not that they're doing this bad, I'm just saying it's like how they're specific.
Right.
It's called Stable, and that's like this new thing. You should look it up in DC. I actually was talking to the founders, and we had the same conversation of like helping art creatives in DC. And what they did is they have an application process where you apply to be an artist or apply to get a studio space there.
Okay.
And then I don't know what their rates are, but they're saying that like, if you get accepted, then you have affordable rates for a studio in DC, because DC's maxed out. You really can't get any more studio space unless you renovate a building, which is what they did. And she was just telling me how like they'll have like a public space for photographers to be able to come in just like on a whim, and like a private space to do like intimate photo shoots and stuff.
That's dope.
Which was cool, but at the same time I'm like, okay, it's towards that goal, a little less selective than how it's done, but it's very much like, we'll choose you for these private studios, and we have some small amount of for public.
Right.
But it's interesting because a giant studio like FD Studios, that services everyone on like a whole nother level that a renovated warehouse in DC can't.
Right.
Which is just interesting, and I don't know if that'll ever help. I don't know if the DC creative scene will ever thrive off of that. I don't know. Like,
That's tough. I would say, I mean, for me, over the past year or two, I've met some amazing creative people in the area. The DC, Maryland, Virginia area, mostly through social media.
But how many of them are still here that were here last year?
All of them.
Really? That's interesting.
At least that I know. But yeah, I just try to stay connected to people. Normally, working with people, I meet other people. So, for example, my friend Kylie, I shoot her pretty often. But I met her at that music video that I shot for Cam Wells last summer.
K-Dot?
Yeah. So she styled that music video. She styled Cam for that music video.
She's a cool
I met her, and like, it's really strange because we have the same network. Never crossed this girl once. Like, never crossed her once. And we have a lot of mutual friends. And then come to find out, I stopped using Facebook like senior year of high school, like 2012.
Yeah,
and then like I got on one day, like a year ago, and she tagged me in something. I was like, I remember, like, I haven't been on Facebook. I haven't accepted this girl's friend request. Go on, and like we had been Facebook friends since like high school. Just like didn't know. So I mean, like, you just never, know. So me and her have worked on a lot of creative projects. Just like the two of us. Like, I've pulled her into stuff. She's pulled me into stuff.
That's cool.
For paid and unpaid work.
Like that.
Yeah, and but it's because we networked at that music video. You know what I mean? So I just talk to people, I just meet people.
That's the beautiful part about creative endeavors and just working your own business or just working towards something that's not 9 to 5 is you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
I think that's the craziest, most fun part. It's just by being
It's scary and fun at the same time.
Yeah, it's scary, but by having a little bit of belief and a little bit of money in your savings, so you won't die next month.
Exactly.
But just like trusting the process.
It's uncomfortable comfortability.
Yeah, but by trusting the process and just being a good dude. Like, I don't know you for longer than an hour now. Maybe it's a little longer than an hour.
Yeah.
But I can tell you're a good dude with good intentions.
Right.
Like, I feel like other people sense that, and that is what gets these random gigs, and just that's what just makes things happen. And that's
for me personally, it's like
that's the journey.
I've tried to put myself out there more. And within the past like 6 months, people are like, oh, like, I saw you talking about this, or I saw that you posted this, and like, based on that, like, that's why I hit you up to shoot. And I'm like, to me, it's just like, I just felt like posting a singing video on my story, like, but they realize that, like, I'm a real person, I'm a, regular person, and they can feel comfortable hitting me up.
Dude, it's so important. You can't just hide behind a logo anymore. You have to like be yourself. You are your brand. Don't hide behind your photos.
And the people that like know me, like they know I'm pretty weird. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they know I'm weird. But they love me for who I am, and I don't mind. I'm comfortable with myself, so I don't mind posting a video of me singing an Ariana Grande, hitting the high notes. Like, I'm cool with it.
But that's cool. That shows who you are. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a cool guy. I'd love to work with him.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a great strategy. I've been using that strategy, not strategy, but like just keeping it real with people. We're all humans at the end of the day. It's like, we're all one man operations, and you have to be able to vibe with each other on a human level. And if someone's looking at you to hire you, oh, this guy's hilarious. He'll post funny videos, but his work is really good too. Yeah, let's hit him up.
Or like, oh, I'm uncomfortable as my first photo shoot, or I don't, feel comfortable being half naked, but I need to take these pictures for, whatever reason. Oh, he's funny. He's entertaining. I know he'll be a good time to shoot with, or I know that he'll make me feel comfortable.
It's so important in today's atmosphere, man. It's so important. Even when I started Bruce Allen, I had the same approach where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be myself, and it works. People love that. Probably about you too. You seem like a very outgoing guy as well. You could probably go to a room and talk there.
Which has only been a thing as of the past few years.
Really?
I'm still technically an introvert. I know a lot of people. I'm not close with a lot of people. I don't like going out all the time. I'd rather stay in and watch a movie by myself, or just stay in with a couple people or something. Than,
but you're not an only child.
No, my brothers are away at school.
Are they a lot younger than you?
My younger brother is only 3 years younger than me. My youngest brother, they're a year and a half apart.
Okay, those are a lot of only child tendencies.
I think part of my introvertness has come from me just being independent. I've never had to have anyone pushing me or telling me what to do. I've just I think it's older child syndrome. I'm just having kind of figure it out. You're your parents' guinea pig, kind of.
Not look at Corey. It's more Corey, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I think part of me being an introvert has come from my independence. So.
But that's what you need to be. You can't be always outgoing and on 10.
You can't always be on.
How do you get work done?
Yeah.
How do you reflect on yourself? How do you have these conversations with yourself was my work good? How could I have done better? Things like that.
Exactly.
Well, shit, man. It's been good chatting with you.
Yeah, you want to cover anything else?
I don't know. Oh, I got some random questions.
Yeah.
Canon or Nikon?
Canon, easy. And I've only ever had Canon, and so I like Canon.
Zoom or Prime?
It depends.
I feel you on
It
that.
depends. I like prime lenses more because they provide a certain style depending on the focal length that you're working with, and then the bokeh is just better, and then they're normally sharper. But zoom lenses have their perks. Like weddings, I normally if it's the wedding happening, I'm using a zoom. I can't miss anything. Events, I'm using a zoom. I can't miss anything. Portraits, fashion, I'm with my prime. Video, I normally use my prime.
Yeah.
Depending on, again, if it's a wedding video, I'm not using my prime. Unless it's detailed, the cake or something like that. But so I can't pick. I need both. So I can't pick one for you.
Lightroom or Photoshop?
Photoshop, hands down.
Nice.
Hands down. All the pictures that I post are Photoshop. I'd rather spend 5 times longer specifically editing. And I only use Photoshop for pictures that are either going on my portfolio or on my Instagram. If it's for a client and I have to batch edit, Lightroom, hands down.
That's a fence.
Yeah. But as far as my go-to is Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself outgrowing this area?
I feel like I'm there now. The reason why I don't have any plans on moving is because I'd rather be the guy here.
Big fish in a small pond.
Exactly. You go to New York, you have a million photographers and videographers.
Same
You go to California, it's even worse. I could go to, when I've traveled, I've actually gone on random websites and Craigslist and just seen how many people are looking for work. And it'll be pages long, but it'll be pages long for that same day. I could kill it in other areas, but I'd rather, if I can make it here, then I know I can make it anywhere.
It's tough
again, I'd rather establish myself here and be the guy here than, I'll be 25 in January. Then at 25 years old, I'm trying to have my life set up by the time I'm 30. So at 25, I'm not trying to have to relocate and start all over again. Yeah, I have friends and stuff in different areas, but most of my network is here. I'm not willing to restart. By 30, I'm trying to be established.
Is it that worth it, or could they just fly you out?
Well, that's the other thing. I do travel for work now. So if there was an opportunity that presented itself and I had several clients, big money clients, or it was just a crazy opportunity, yeah, I'd consider moving. But again, I don't know where my life is going to go. And in the time being, I'm content being here. And I'd rather just be the guy or like one of the guys here, or females. You know, there's a lot of great female artists in the area. You know, I'll just say the person. I'd rather be the person or one of the people here. So I feel like I'm getting closer to that. I feel like if I pick up and move now, like I feel like I'm definitely not where I want to be, and I feel like I haven't plateaued yet. So to me, it's like if I'm on the incline already and I'm still in this area, I don't need to leave because then I'll start at the bottom again.
Yeah, especially if you're still going up.
Exactly.
Do you think you're going to move closer to the city, though, to be...
Yeah, so I'm actually trying to move in the spring. Most of my work comes from Arlington, D.C. area. Same. So I don't mind driving, but...
It sucks.
It sucks.
Pain in the dick.
And like the traffic around here, and then, you know, the Amazon headquarters is going to be here too. It's going to be worse. So I'm trying to be in... I don't want to be in DC. DC traffic always sucks. I'd rather be Arlington, Alexandria area. It's like right outside DC. So then I can still get, you know, see my family faster and stuff like that. But still be, you know, right down the street from DC. But that's my goal in spring 2019, summer 2019 at the latest. But financially, I've built up my clientele and just my business enough to be comfortable moving out of my parents' place. I pay, you know, rent there now, but it's not like if I were to have rent on my own. Yeah, so that's my primary goal.
I'm always hesitant to ask people that question.
As far as what?
Are you at your parents' place?
I am. And my parents don't care. My parents have told me I can stay there till I'm, you know, 30 if I want. That's not happening.
But you can't do it.
I can't. And I wanted to move out last year, but then I made this jump, and this is gonna sound wrong. It set me back in terms of financially.
No, it's true. It's true.
But it set me forward in my mindset and my growth. So I'm just trying to get my finances to catch up to where I am as a person. And, you know, my business is growing really fast now, so I'm able to do that. So that's why, you know, literally right now, could I do it? Probably not. But by spring, summer, I'll be fine.
And I'm always hesitant because I'm in that same boat. And it's like an insecurity for me. Like, whether it's dating or whatever it is, you want to come back to my parents' place,
right,
smash the
right.
But I think a lot of it comes from the confidence and the belief of, okay, I'm going to take one step back. I'm not going to be in Arlington with all the homies going to all the bars and drinking every night and spending 20 cocktails. You know,
I was doing that when I was working a full time.
Yeah, same here.
And it set me, like, in hindsight, like, the amount of money that I spent, the amount of time that I spent, like, obviously I can't get any of that back. And money comes and goes, but at the same time, like, it'd be nice to have all that money back. And, you know, you live and you learn, you grow. So I don't regret it. If I could go back in time and change it, I probably would. But you know, again, I grew from it, so I don't regret it. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it's that one step back, even if it's not. But if it's that one step back or that one short-term L, you know that in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, hell, don't even get started on 5 years, you're gonna be so far ahead of everyone else.
Yep.
Mentally, emotionally, monetarily, and it only feels like an L because monetary wise, emotionally and happiness level, you're probably through the roof.
The past year and a half, whatever, since I've been on my own, I've never been happier. Money wise, I don't have like. Now I'm making more money than I was working at my job, but that didn't happen until probably like this past spring maybe. So there was about a year there where I was like. Not struggling, but like I wasn't making. I would have some months where I made more than I would have at my regular job.
Yeah, but you're not going shopping.
Exactly, and it's not guaranteed either. So I would have a great month, and then it's like
the next month.
Cool,
is like
I'm making a third of what I just made the previous month. So you have your ups and downs, but my happiness was never an up and down. It was just okay, cool. I need to get more clients, or okay, cool. I'm in the financial situation. I need to figure this out. But it's never like I'm unhappy. And then like I also learned that. You know, it made me learn how to stretch. I already knew how to budget for my parents, but it made me learn how to stretch my money more. And then also prepare for ebbs and flows throughout the year, being in this area and seasonal and stuff like that. So it was all a learning experience. I was better for it and still learning and, you know, getting better for it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's just really interesting because I think it's a very smart move. And like you're a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk as well, as I am.
I repost his stuff all the time. You probably see me like almost every morning.
But he's right. Like it's cool. Like I'm grateful, I'm sure you are as well, that your parents allow that. You know, that's fine. But it's such a win, dude. It's such a win to just get that set up, that launch pad to just like kill shit, you know?
Well, I have friends that are my age or even older, and they're like, you know, I wish I would have stayed home after college and didn't move out. And like, you're not going to move out and then move back home. So they're strapped financially, like, yo, I wish I would have, whatever. Or like, I wish I would have, followed what I was passionate about instead of like, getting this government job, making six figures. I ran into a guy last winter, actually. Hadn't seen him. I met him, I think I met him at a party at JMU Halloween weekend one year. And I ran into him at a concert I was shooting last winter. Asked him how he had been doing. He graduated and everything. He's like, yeah, I'm like, living in Arlington, like, making all this money, working this government job. And he's like, but like, honestly, like, my passion is like, having a farm and living in the Midwest. And he was like, I haven't talked to him.
He's so unhappy.
Exactly. And he was like, he literally told me, he's like, this is not it. I'm not happy. This isn't life. He's like, I have, 6 figures on my account right now. And he's like, I'm miserable. And I don't know if he actually did it, but his plan was to move west and like start a farm.
It's either that or he's gonna get to his breaking point and
it sounded like he was there.
Yeah, like he's getting to that breaking point where he's just like, something's gotta give.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's so nuts.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's a lot of people though. Especially like this area, like, there's a lot of corporate jobs and a lot of just business and government. A lot of people just get stuck in this. Dude, and the thing, like,
I can tell you for a fact that almost every person around our age, 20s to early 30s, who's working a government job would rather be doing something else.
I have a friend. She wants to do a bunch of creative work. She does amazing poetry. We're shooting a video for one of her poems soon, but she works a government job, I think for the Department of Justice, and she can't post certain pictures, she can't put out certain things or attach herself to certain things because that comes back to her and could affect her government clearance or her job. And it's like, and she can draw and paint like amazing, and she wants to do that, but like
she can't even post it online. Security breach. Dude, and
she complains to me about it like I don't know what to do, and I'm like, you gotta follow your. And this is a discussion we had last year. Now she's talking about moving to New York for a different job, still in criminal justice or something.
But that's like a short-term Band-Aid. Exactly. You know what that is? Yeah. It's just like, oh, I'll be in New York though.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, she's gonna move to New York in a year.
What's funny about those kinds of people, is those are the people that we see on the Instagram that look super happy, who are at like the newest bars, who are at the newest restaurants, ordering foie gras and like 4 appetizers.
It's funny you bring that up. I was getting my haircut by my boy Dante last night. Ran into 2 friends that were waiting to get their haircut.
Oh, dang, I'm honored you got the
just for you, just for you.
Yeah, man.
And we were talking, and we were talking about just like people relocating and moving and stuff like that. And it's like, they'll post on Instagram, they moved to LA, right? It's like everyone's blowing up their picture, like, yo, congratulations. Like, they're getting probably the most likes they've ever gotten on a picture.
Facts.
But it's like, they have to look in the mirror and realize, like, their fridge is almost empty because they can't afford to stock their fridge. They have a job, like, they're miserable working that job. But on the outside, it's like they're putting on this front, like, they're living life. But then, like, at the end of the day, like, you can hide from everyone and front all you want to, but, like, you still have to look in the mirror at the end of the day. And it just is what it is.
Yeah, they can be on the story, oh, it's so nice out here. Oh, I'm just going to get some jobs.
But as soon as that story ends and you post it, you still got to look at yourself. You still got to look at your bank account. You still got to look at your non-furnished apartment.
Yep.
Your empty fridge.
Even if you move to New York, your little hole that you're living in, I don't want to give up all the connections I built just to go to live in New York and live in a 5x5 apartment, like.
And pay double the rent you would here.
And pay double the rent.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I think the rent's actually the same in New York.
In New York.
Yeah. I was actually looking at that. Did you see that meme with that?
Well, the spaces are smaller though.
Yeah, the spaces are smaller.
So technically, you're getting less bang for your buck.
Yeah, but it's the price is still the same, which is crazy. But except they get more baseline than anyone does here. But yeah, man, there's something to be said about people advertising lives that they don't really lead.
It's everywhere.
Especially on the gram, especially when you're a creative trying to build something and you see this and it just weighs on you. Even though you don't want to and you don't try to watch those stories, it just weighs on you a little bit. You're like, you're just like, you're like you see that one girl you think's really hot doing all that shit and you're like, man, I couldn't date her. I couldn't afford to even date her. How many times you thought that? I thought that so many times. I'm like, I couldn't afford to date you. Or the other thought I have is like, I'm like, is that all you do? Like
that's my biggest.
Is there anything deeper than you just drinking cocktails and getting
and posting ass pictures?
Yeah. Like, are you working?
Like if I see that, like, I'm not even interested in getting to know. Yeah, you're hot. Like, but that's where my thoughts stop. Is like, you're hot. I'll double tap your picture and keep scrolling, but I don't think anything more of you.
Yeah, it's like you're hot. I'd probably collab with you for a shoot to get some likes.
That's literally it. You can help me build my portfolio. I have no interest in anything else from you other than that.
Dude, I'm glad we talked about that. It's definitely something that's been on my mind a lot too recently.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
You know, fuck. Anyways, guys. Anyways, so let's go ahead and wrap it up here because I gotta start getting ready for this.
You have your exhibition tonight.
Tonight. I don't know if you're coming. It's okay.
I'm gonna try to come. I have to shoot a promo video in the area now, pretty much. But if I have time after, then
get your money, dude. Don't even worry about it, dude. Like get your money, dude. I will get that money instead of any event any day of the week.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to slide through. I have to see what time I'm done shooting.
Yeah, no worries if you can't, man.
Yeah.
But dude, it's been super chill chatting with you, man. You're super solid, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous you're so much younger than me and discovered it so much earlier
than
me.
Everyone has their own path.
Everyone has their own
path. There's a couple people that I've met recently that are a few years younger than me, and I've been helping to guide them because if I knew what I know now, I would be further ahead. So I just want to. I'm one of those people I'm not down to compete. I just want to see everyone succeed. Right. So I'm down to just two guys. I've been helping them out, giving them tips on business stuff, work stuff.
Is there anything you want to say or say to people listening or anything like that before we go?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Corey A. Gray. My website is the same, CoreyAGray.com.
Spell it out. Spell out the app.
CoreyAGray.
And I'll link it in the bio if you're watching this on YouTube.
Please do.
Or anything like that, guys. Please go check
I do almost everything under the sun. If you need pet photography or maternity or infant, like newborn, don't hit me up because I don't do it. Everything else, I got you.
I was like, he does that too.
No, I don't do that.
All right, word.
Yep.
All right, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. Super chill. Super chill. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's the angle. Like that?
Yeah, that was dope.
That's right.
That was dope.
Hi, man.
Yeah, that was sick.
That's a long ass interview.
Yeah.